Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today's video is all about what makes adults act childish. Why do human adults act childish? I, again, have some notes. Whoa, that's super bright. Is it going to focus? There we go. I have some notes that I'm going to share with you all. So the first thing that makes adults act childish, essentially, is the feeling of fear. Humans often find themselves in fearful thinking, whether they realize it or not. This ultimately causes impulsive and irrational behaviors. Humans seldom act out of intention, and this is why automatic responses rule their lives. Humans who are compelled to adrenaline rushes are often operating to create life-altering experiences. At the root of this is the fear of life. The majority of humanity act out of fear and don't even know it. This is because it has been coded into their being early on in development. The act of hurting, overextending, underestimating, and ignoring ourselves and others are what can be called childish behavior for the sake of this teaching. Childish behaviors are simply behaviors that we were conditioned to tolerate and believe in our development. As human adults, we have the tools to recondition ourselves. Unfortunately, many do not. Adults act childish for a very simple reason: to deny the truth. When you come into contact with an adult human who is stuck in their personal drama and cannot admit it, you will find childish tendencies. The best way to handle this is to accept the situation, accept the person, and let the feeling of superiority, which is actually suffering, go. I said superiority because when we recognize childish behaviors in other people, there's often a sense of, shouldn't you know better coming from it, right? Because we wouldn't be able to recognize it in others if we don't recognize it in ourselves. And it's stemming from a self-created suffering, right? We wouldn't feel the need to point it out, even in our own minds, if we didn't feel some sort of judgment towards them. You cannot love a person enough to make them realize their own shortcomings. In addition to the suffering, you may feel a sense of loss for the person you thought they would be. This is man-made grief. You created an image of them in your mind and expected them to live up to it. They may have even told you they were conscious beings and you believed them. This is an imaginary reality you created for them in your mind, and because they are not such, you may even feel disdain or resentment. An example of this, a personal example, is having parents, adults in our life, say they know better, say that their word is final, or basically the notion of they know better, right? Adults often, parents often make this very known, at least mine did. And at the same time, they would act in very childish ways or immature ways. And as a child, I observed this. and had a hard time understanding it, because I felt throughout my entire childhood that the knowing better is something I often had a better grasp on. And it was painful to experience it and know differently. As a child, I felt no sense of superiority. Obviously, I was confused. And now in my own adult life, when I witness this in other people, it's still that same confusion, especially when they say, oh, I know better, or I know best, or I'm conscious, I'm an aware person. Lots of people in certain spaces, spiritual spaces, tend to say that, and it's confusing to hear that and then observe differently, right? That sense of confusion, though, is my own doing. I will repeat what I mentioned before, that this idea of who we thought they would be is an imaginary reality. Even though they said those words, I still created an idea for them in my mind, and because they are not such, I would feel confused or even disdain or resentment if this is a person that was once close to me. This is, again, my own doing, or your own doing, if you can relate. A word of advice. Never create an idea of a person in your mind. Never believe somebody who claims to be conscious or intelligent or consistent. Observe actions, not words. And regardless, never frame a person in your mind to be any such way. Humans are constantly shifting within their own personal limits. The human mind is a space of degrees, not boxes. Give yourself peace by allowing shifts to occur without judgment. I want to go back to what I said about you cannot love a person enough to make them realize their own shortcomings. When you find yourself doing this, pointing out a person's flaws or mistakes or wrong action or emotional action, understand that you love them anyways, and they will get, somebody who's unconscious but claims to be, will get upset when you say these things because they are acting out of fear and they don't know it. You cannot awaken other people. You can only live by example. Human adults act childish because they are denying the truth of who they are. You will lose your mind attempting to show them who they are. Rather, tell them. You must be you to the highest, fullest sense of being. And the people that love you and love themselves are the ones that will continue on this journey with you. Thank you for watching, for being here. If you heard anything you resonate with or learned anything, like the video, comment your favorite part, your favorite thing that I said, and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. I love you.